All right, welcome to Dorm Diaries, everybody. I'm your host, Corey. I serve as the Associate Director of Housing and Res Life, and obviously host of the best dorm podcast on the nation here at TCU. And I have a special guest, and as always, anybody who is sitting over here is the star of the show. So, who are you?
Reagan Stephens.
And what's your year?
I am a senior political science major on the pre-law track from Reno, Tahoe, Nevada, the one and only.
Ooh, Nevada, not Nevada.
Nevada.
And, should I switch up my question? No, we're not going to switch up the question. How and why did you choose to come to TCU?
Okay, so my journey wasn't probably very typical for a lot of TCU students. So I had no idea what TCU was, I would say, until my junior year of high school when one of my friends in class said she was applying to TCU, and I looked at the website and I was like, wow, it's very purple. Like I've never seen a purple school before. And at the time in my junior year of high school, I was looking to play at schools for soccer, and TCU had a great soccer program. Our women's team is
Yes.
actually competing in the national
Indeed.
the tournament right now, the number 2
Indeed.
seed.
They
I
cold.
think they're playing tomorrow.
They
So
cold.
I will be going to that game. But I emailed the coach, and when I was applying to TCU, I found out that I was a finalist for the Chancellor Scholarship. So I got invited to come interview February of my senior year, and at that it was just perfect timing because I had my tryout for the soccer team. And unfortunately, I didn't end up liking the soccer team, but I love TCU. I never actually did an official tour. No one really knows that.
Oh.
I know, very funny. I walked around the commons at night with all the lights on. I thought it was beautiful. And everyone I talked to during my Chancellor Scholar interviews, I just really connected with the community here. And everyone always says that community, 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 but it's truly like what makes TCU so special. And even though soccer didn't work out, I was so fortunate to be chosen for the scholarship, which allows me to be at TCU today. And looking from that point 4 years ago to where I am now, I couldn't imagine that my journey at TCU could have been any better.
Ah, okay. Well, welcome to the show, Reagan.
Thank you.
What schools are you applying to law school wise?
Well, if you think of my list, so in Texas, I'm applying to A&M just down the road, Baylor and SMU,
Okay.
and then kind of more West Coast, I'm looking at USD San Diego, looking at UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, which not sure how I feel about Vegas yet because I'm very biased towards Northern Nevada from Reno.
Okay,
Yeah,
for
so
sure. Yeah.
everyone, when I visited Vegas with my friends just this past month, they're like, "Oh, can we stay at your house?" I'm like, 7 hours away, like nowhere near, but really applying everywhere. Georgetown, I'm applying to Denver and Boulder, both schools. So yeah, no preference really.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
cool.
see where I get in. We'll see who gives me the most money.
For sure.
Yep.
Political science major
Yes.
who is currently serving as our student body president.
Yep.
So you're already getting a lot of the experience that you will need going forward. I love when
Absolutely.
students can do that, right? When they kind of align their experience with what they want to do going forward.
Absolutely.
So what made you you're a very interesting person, so like I could ask you 1,000 questions. What made you what was the pivotal point in you choosing I want to do environmental law? Like what was the moment, or did you always want to do that since you were a kid?
I didn't know what type of law I wanted to go into. I knew I always wanted to pursue policy, and I think the best route that I found growing up, like that avenue could be law school, and that's why I was always fascinated by political science. My mom worked in our state legislature for a long time as caucus director. She's worked with governors, and then when I got my first hands-on experience, between my freshman and sophomore year here at TCU, I was fortunate enough to work in the Nevada governor's office twice during 2 separate sessions where I was actually analyzing policy and going into bill briefings with our governor and recommending whether he sign or veto bills, which was truly a one-of-a-kind experience, but it reaffirmed my love and passion for law and policy and for knowing you can make a real difference in positions. I know during crazy times we're in right now where government leaders and politicians are viewed as almost the negative of our world, and whereas I can come in as someone who's a selfless leader. I think that's what I really learned about TCU is just valuing your community and putting people first. But what the type of law I want to go into, it's going to follow around environmental advocacy, just again my love for my home state, wanting to protect Nevada's natural resources,
Right.
disputes over the Colorado River right now basin. Like, the question we're facing back home is how do we prioritize water rights and like what citizens and what states and what cities get water? And it's not an easy question. So it's really using ethics to try to figure out these hard policy questions that don't have one easy answer. And I love the challenge of like learning how to think differently and thinking like a lawyer. As someone I've talked to many people who are in law school, it's a real thing, and learning how to think differently and think ethically. And I think that's what TCU has done an amazing job at. So
Good.
it's been going back to your question, it's been a gradual progression of like how I wanted to go into environmental law, but I've always known that I wanted to stand up for people who maybe couldn't have a voice. And I think through public service and through government advocacy, it's a great avenue to do it. And we need people in office that are actually going to make a difference. So whether that be behind the scenes of me just working with some of my clients, working on a state level of protecting natural resources, or me maybe even running for office one day back home and like actually wanting to serve and work on policy, because we need good people in office and we don't need people who are only in it for themselves. And again, going back to TCU has just taught me so much about that leadership, and it's really not about yourself. Like everything I am doing in my role, from my projects, my advocacy to administration, my communication to students, it's not for me. This job as student body president is really serving my 11,000 constituents.
Wow. Okay, before we get into some other questions, would you ever serve as the president of the United States?
Absolutely not. And I always say the reason is I am so biased towards home. I think Nevada is the best state in the nation. My friends, they get sick of me talking about Nevada so much, but I have a love in my heart for it. If the opportunity even comes to run for governor one day, I would consider it, but I need to be in the right mental position and making sure that I'm doing it out of love for my state, for the people, for the service, not out of something that's just like crossing off the bucket list. But no, I can never be president. I don't think I would enjoy that.
Okay, I've only been to Vegas, so I'm gonna have to explore some other places of Nevada, not
Nevada. Oh my goodness. I have corrected board of trustees members, chancellors on how to say it properly. Everyone's like, oh, like Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm like, nope, Reno, Nevada. Like very different. But up north, we have trees, we have Lake Tahoe, we have skiing. We're very spoiled with where I am at. And so I've been fortunate to grow up, and I truly think it's like one of the best places. Very similar to all of our Colorado people that we have a lot at TCU, similar vibes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming from Nevada, you come down to Fort Worth, Texas, which is drastically different.
Drastically different.
But you make it on campus. And where are you staying year one?
So I am in Clark Hall.
Hey, Clark Shark.
Clark Sharks. Yep.
Who was your hall director? Benji?
Benji. Yep.
Shout out to Benji.
And that was Benji's first year at TCU as well. And I always see him now at Ampersand. I always run into him. Like,
he's a coffee drinker.
Oh, he's a coffee drinker. I love him though, but very different. So I'm an only child as well.
Okay.
So coming to TCU, I was in an extended triple in Clark, which was a big transition for me, not only being away from my parents. I had a long distance boyfriend at the time. So it was a recipe for disaster for me having a hard transition to Texas. And as we've talked about, I love my home state, very passionate about it. And that really swayed me away from trying to dive into the TCU experience, because I almost was comparing everything to being at home.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is different. And like, I was thinking different was bad. And I started to like draw away, I think, a lot freshman year. And now looking back and reflecting on my time at Clark in my freshman year, I am so grateful for it. But I had a very hard time. And I think that's very true for a lot of our freshmen that are coming into TCU. It's different here. And if you're not willing to engage in our awesome community, like it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard transition.
For sure. Okay. So you use the term extended triple, which is fine.
Yep.
We use the term triple with shared amenities. For those who are listening or for those who are watching, what that means is we have spaces that are crafted for singles, right? We have spaces that are crafted as a double. 2 people can stay in it. We have spaces that are crafted for 4 people to stay or whatever. We also have some spaces that are slightly larger. And so space-wise, we can fit a third person into that space. But it also means that the third person is going to have to share the amenities of the room with the other 2 people who are in that space. And so sometimes that is a popular decision. Sometimes it's not a popular decision. And so tell me about how being in that TSA, or triple with shared amenities, kind of shaped your first semester or first year? What things were you dealing with that you kind of talked about how you weren't
Mhm.
involved or you kind of retracted? How did being in a triple room aid to that?
Right. So the idea of a triple at first, I loved it. I wanted to be engaged always in the community. I would always have someone to come home to. I would have my roommates I could giggle with at night. We can watch movies. So I was very excited. I shared a closet with one of my roommates, which ended up being okay. I didn't have a lot of clothes my freshman year. But I would say it started right away in August. Like even move in, we had issues. And I think it was almost a communication issue with my freshman year roommates. And that isolated me even more because everyone has their dream experience coming into college. If
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be besties with your freshman year roommate, you're gonna frolic into the sunset, they're gonna be your bridesmaids. Like that's everyone's dream of
Yes,
their freshman year
100%.
roommates. And I just unfortunately I didn't have that bond with them, and that's totally okay. So we had to learn how to live in an environment together that we could function, and I don't think any of us wanted to. Like we had blocks up in our relationships, which I think all frustrated all of us. And my other two roommates got very close. They had a friend group on second floor of our hall, and I just
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was never welcome in that space. And it's hard when you don't feel welcome in a space. This is someone when I was an only child. I still am an only child, and far away from my parents. Like I'm constantly calling home, and I could never call my parents in my room just because my roommates and I like we just didn't feel comfortable being in the same room as one another. So if my roommate would walk in, I would walk out and go to the library or vice versa. Like we just couldn't be in the same space, and we tried to work it out with our RAs, and it's just okay. Like we just didn't click. And now when I see these people, my two roommates just walking on campus, like I always say hi, but it's just we didn't mesh in that space freshman year, and whether that be immaturity from we didn't want to grow or we weren't comfortable in our space. But what that taught me was being open. And I've never shared anything also in my life before. Like again,
Right.
I'm an only child. I've
Mm-hmm.
only ever had my room. I've only ever known life with my parents as well. And I think I almost took that out of my roommates and it was their fault. But after doing some reflection, I am much more of a type B person than I was freshman year. I want everything clean. I would blame my roommates if things weren't clean,
Mm-hmm.
but then I wasn't communicating. So it was a lot of reflection on what I did wrong and playing less of the blame game.
Right.
But through that experience freshman year, I found my two best friends who lived on the first floor of Clark who absolutely loved hanging out with each other. So I would find myself going to their room on the first floor and hang out with them. And they are now my two best friends. I live off campus with them. But it's because of that experience that I was able to grow my network. And I think maybe why I struggled too freshman year was I was mad at my situation and I didn't do anything to fix it. I was like,
Mm.
I didn't apply or I emailed people to try to see if I can transfer in and there just wasn't enough space. And so I was just mad at TCU. I was mad at my roommates, blaming everyone else but me. And what I could have done my first semester at TCU was fix that by going out and meeting more people instead of just like pity me, poor me, like I'm having a terrible time, like I'm just going to transfer because it's easier. And what really flipped the switch for me was when I engaged and I made sure I wanted to be a part of TCU, whether that be through various clubs. And the one club specifically that I truly think saved my entire TCU experience was Noble Faith and Fitness Ministries. So
Oh, tell me about it.
it was a new club coming onto campus. Nicoletta Bradley, she's a TCU grad, and came spoke to my chapter, my sorority chapter, and it's a club that we'd work out and then we do Bible studies afterwards. And
Nice.
I haven't found a faith community at that time yet at TCU, and this is kind of the introduction and the start of me meeting new people, me sharing community with people that just weren't in my Clark Hall dorm. And that opened doors to me being a leader in student government. That opened doors to me going out of my comfort zone in the political science department to opening up more opportunities. But it wasn't until that I said yes to exploring more spaces. And when I was alone and saying, pity me, poor me, like I'm in such a terrible situation. And then I was like, oh, wait, I can fix this and I can take the initiative. That's when my trajectory of TCU allowed me to be where I'm at today. And now I'm an advocate and saying, please, 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 please be in a room with someone. Like try to be in your spaces. Don't isolate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to hide and be on FaceTime with your parents all the time. Like, you only have college for 4 years.
This
And
is true.
only
Sometimes shorter than that for some people. Yeah.
sometimes shorter, sometimes longer, but you will never get this time back in your life, especially your freshman year room. You'll never get that very unique time of sharing space with someone. So be open with them, like learn from your mistakes and don't blame yourself or other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Do you feel like like on that last point of like not blaming other people and like taking some accountability and stuff like that? Um, do you feel like that is like pivotal to your first year experience?
Mhm.
Is like living amongst other people.
Absolutely. And I am very grateful that I was in Clark Hall. I think everyone who comes into TCU imagines they're in the Commons or they're even in PE Clark. I think PE Clark
Mm-hmm.
is still for our first year students, because they want like their own space and
Right.
they think it's more elevated and they're like, oh, I don't want to share a space with someone. I'm so grateful I got to share a space with students around me, because I think I would have been even more isolated my freshman year. And like I wasn't forced to go socialize. I wasn't forced to hang out in communal areas. And when I opened up and started hanging out in those communal areas, that's where I found my two best friends on the first floor of Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of when single rooms, like, if you isolate yourself and you're always on your phone, you're just coming home, you go room, class, eat, dining hall, back to room. Like, absolutely not. And while it's great to be in a single, I think it can almost be more isolating than I was in a triple.
That's a large statement.
Mm.
So, because you would think it's impossible to feel isolated in a room with two other people,
Mhm.
right? And you're stating that even in the TSA, you were feeling isolated,
Mhm.
and so you would prefer not to be in a
Yes.
single,
Yep. Mhm.
at least until you maybe feel so comfortable and confident in being able to connect
Right.
yourself with these other organizations or
Mhm.
groups or things like that. So how did your relationship with your roommates, you said, is now it's very cordial, right?
Oh,
You
very
have no
cordial.
disdain for them or anything like that.
Absolutely no disdain. Like, I give him hugs when I see him. Like, that space and time when I guess it was like 2022, 2023, we're
Right.
18 and 19 years old. Like, we're still
For
learning
sure.
who we are. And college is a hard transition, especially for someone like me who has only ever known life with my parents and known a home that's a 3-hour flight away. Like, I couldn't go home on the weekends. One of my roommates was fortunate enough to live in Houston, so she got to go home
Go
on
back
some
and forth.
weekends.
Yeah.
I wasn't afforded that luxury. Instead of giving them grace for them also going through a hard transition, I put the blame on them and I never took accountability for my own actions. And I never put myself in their shoes. And I think that was critical once I like stepped back and once I realized like, oh, like I can do something about this. That's
Mhm.
when everything changed.
How did you navigate some of the like communication things, right? Like learning somebody is and how they communicate is already a tough thing.
Mhm.
So being in a space with two other people is probably even tougher.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that? Like just purely on a communication standpoint.
Well, the problem was we never navigated that communication. We
Mm,
always tried to go through our RAs, and we never found success through that. And that's when we all kind of gave up and we realized like we're at a roadblock. And that's when it almost was like a hostile environment to be in. And none of us were happy. Like it was just dead silent in our room all the time. Like no one wanted to be there. And we never fixed that communication, which looking back, I wish I would have taken more action to be like more like forward front on
mhm,
like trying to fix that, and we never did. And now that lesson taught me to like take a step back, not be so just critical, and like really putting myself in people's shoes. And that's been essential for all of my leadership roles too. I can't just look at things from my perspective. And even like through my faith that I've like increased throughout my time at TCU is really like putting my values first and just giving people grace. It's hard to do, and I don't think I had that skill my freshman year, but I've grown so much in that time and learning to be a type B person. Like
right.
very very much. Like I used to be like this needs to be like in this position blah 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 A through Z. And now I'm just like it's okay. That's not in my control. What is in my control right now, and if I were to go back my freshman year, I could have making more efforts to say, "Hey, let's go do a roommate dinner somewhere like this.
Mm,
Let's go watch a movie together. Like, let's
right.
be in this space. Let's go for a walk." Like, I could have taken action steps and things that were in my control, and I didn't.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the hindsight is always 20/20, as they
Right.
say, right?
Mhm.
You you get older, you get a little bit more wiser, and you look back and you say, I could have done this a little bit better. I think a platform like this and why I wanted to start something like this is to be able to have students like yourself who have lived through that.
Right.
And you know that there are other students who may be living through the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
And you can kind of speak into their existence. So another question I have is, for somebody who is maybe living in a TSA right now, what are some tangible tips and tricks, maybe outside of like the learning to grow as a human and more just like, hey, we have shared resources. Here's how we,
Right.
even if you aren't best friends with your roommates, here's how you can survive and thrive in your TSA.
My survival tactic was don't have everything in your room. Also, your freshman year, you should not have like all of your clothes from home. Like you only need a certain amount of clothes. Consolidate. Consolidating is good too.
You heard it here first, y'all.
I
Okay, you ain't gotta bring the whole truck.
Don't bring a U-Haul for moving. Like you don't need a lot. I promise you, ladies, you will be okay. You don't need to bring it all. And spend time outside your room. Like that I think was essential for me to being successful. Was when I was happiest, I was going on walks. I was constantly at meetings. I was at student government meetings. I went to club soccer. Like I wasn't trapped in my room on my phone with my parents or my boyfriend at the time. Like that's, you can't be in your room. And once you open yourself up to communities and never study in your room, that is my biggest piece of advice.
Oh, wow.
You go to the library, go to common spaces, go in a study group. If you are in your room, I think you just feel like trapped. And it's also like not a good slow down, calm down at night space versus like this is my study time. Like separate time for yourself. But I think the biggest thing that really helped me was just consolidating, because you don't need as much things as you think you do. Like you think you need to move your whole room from high school to college. No, you don't. Like I promise there's so many resources at TCU where you don't need to move everything. And yeah, just get involved as much as possible.
For sure. And you will accumulate things as you continue to matriculate through your years. So I'm not telling you not to, bring nothing. Bring the things that make you comfortable.
Absolutely.
But you also don't have to bring everything. But nowadays there are like, a bunch of storage options if people need storage options. So
absolutely.
You can check that out for sure. Did you stay the entire academic year in your TSA or
I did. I really was trying to find a way out, but it just never happened.
Right.
And you know what? That's totally okay, because I learned so much about myself through that experience, and I didn't know it at the time. But like afterwards, doing some reflection, and then my sophomore year, I was in a single in my Greek chapter house, which was wonderful, but also isolating. I was expected to be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Like going from my triple situation to sophomore year, but I found myself spending so much more alone time. I didn't know if I really liked it. It was less of a community because I was able to isolate myself so easily. So then I would always go walk to Marion from Greek Village to make sure I was with my very close friends that I met in Clark on the first floor, and just wanting to spend time with them. And that's when I knew like I just didn't want to isolate myself. But yeah, you're in an easy position to really like disassociate when you have a single, because like I said earlier, it's easy to go to class, go study, come home, sleep, repeat, and not engage. And I think we all say like the best thing that we love about TCU is the community. And if you're not engaged in the community, you're not getting the TCU experience.
For sure. For sure. I mean, we all know what the C stands for, TCU. I sometimes like to throw in community in there, right? TCCU.
TCCU.
So how would you, what advice would you get? Seems like you're very involved even from your first year to now. I know a lot of our first year students, our incoming students, kind of struggle with finding their group. And so how did you find your group, and how would you advise someone who was maybe looking to find their group to find it?
Absolutely. So going to the iFest, the club fair, I signed up for every group me possible. And then you just weed them out. Like you're like, oh, I want to go to spike ball. And I'm like, maybe not. I don't like it. Then go to pickleball, which I think has 500 members right now.
Pickleball is tough. You play pickleball?
No, I wish I was good at pickleball, but
I love pickleball.
Pickleball, I wish I was good at it. It's a lot of fun. But once you find your group, like just start with a big pool. Like throw your seeds out and see what sticks. See what plants, and you'll see what is going to grow. And for me, I originally put out club soccer, which I think lasted for 2 years. And then I really found my purpose and my calling at TCU to student government. But it's because I put that original seed out and I put myself in a position. So I ran in August of my freshman year for a class representative seat. There were 15 of us running, and me and Katie Hong, who actually ran for student body president, we were both our two class representatives, which I think was a lot of fun and allowed me to get involved very early. And I didn't know what that was going to become. And looking back, I'm very grateful that I even put myself in that position. But sign up for all the group meets at the club fair, and that's when you really like give yourself a big pool to pick from.
For sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Would you consider yourself an extrovert or introvert? A little bit
Oh,
of
I
both.
think it depends on the day.
Okay.
As we were talking about, I'm a big yapper. Like I love to yap. I love to socialize, but also something I have learned in this role that is very demanding of me, like socially. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love my alone time. Like
Mm.
very big fan. Sometimes I just
To
need to scroll on
recharge.
Instagram Reels and rot, and it's okay.
Reels or TikToks? Where are we at?
Reels.
Okay, I'm with you.
I haven't had TikTok since freshman year of high school.
Oh wow.
Not because of like the whole like I think China's taking our data because I just was so addicted to TikTok and then I was like, "Oh, I deleted it." Now I
Right.
have Instagram Reels, so it's like the same thing. But I also don't have Snapchat, which is another thing I deleted, and I think that comes with maturity of turning off notifications so you're on your phone
Yeah,
less.
no, for sure.
Don't get me started. But what were we talking about? I
Yeah,
went
what were
into
we
I
talking
went
about?
into a
We
rabbit
spiraled
hole.
down. Oh, getting involved on campus and things of that nature.
Oh
And
yeah.
you being an extrovert and an introvert.
Yes, I love my alone time. I think I'm an introvert when I'm tired, and I'm an extrovert on Tuesdays. Depends. Like Mondays, I'm like, don't talk to me. Tuesdays, I'm like, I'm recharged. I'm ready
So
to
Tuesdays
go.
is the day. If
That's
I can catch you on a Tuesday,
oh,
you're up there.
most days I'm in business casual, business professional throughout the week. Besides my casual Mondays, which is like almost a recovery from the weekend. Recovery in
Ooh.
the sense of like not even just like crazy. I like
Mm-hmm.
put too much stress on myself, but throughout the week I'm so strained. Not strained. That's not the right word. So lucky to be busy from this job
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just pooped for 3 days straight. And the
Right.
Monday continues the weekend of like I need a introvert. Don't talk to me. And Tuesday, ready to go. Boom.
So how do you, as a college student,
Mm.
how do you find that balance? It seems like you got a lot going on. How do you find it?
You know, I'm still learning. I'm learning to say no to things. I think your freshman year, you have to say yes to everything. And now that I'm so involved and I have my community, I have my space, I'm saying no to things
Mm-hmm.
and prioritizing myself. And I found, I think also one of the things that has saved me at TCU is core power yoga. I love core power. I have like over 250 classes I've gone to since my freshman year. That has really been like my grounding space and allowing me to not only work out, but have community, have a place to go, a lot of structure. And I've absolutely loved it.
Shout out to everybody who does yoga. I did yoga one time.
It's hard.
It was hot yoga too,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
which I ain't really know what that was at first.
Man, it's hard. So in January, I do hot yoga at home too. I was skiing in the morning and I was like, "Oh, I'll go to yoga later to stretch out." I passed out in class from hot yoga.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
At the end of the class, I was on the ground, and there was like a period, maybe that's like maybe 5 minutes. It
Yeah.
felt like it was 20,
Mhm.
but we were at the end, and so she was like, "Yeah, I want you to just kind of rest for a second and let your body kind of catch up." So I did not. I was like asleep. I was like, I don't want to get up because
Yep.
I've never sweated so
It's
much,
so much.
and my body was shaking. So that was my one and only time doing
Yep.
yoga. Your boy ain't doing yoga no
It's
more.
so
You
funny
know?
when the girls at TCU bring guys to class and they're like the one guy in a swarm of like 50 girls, which is like fitting of the TCU
Right.
ratio.
For sure, 100%.
And they can't do it. They're like, "Oh, I'm like strong. I
Yeah,
can do
no,
it."
it's a
Nope.
different type
It's like
of.
preparing for war.
It really is. It's a different type of workout, and
Yep.
that's not any of a type of workout that I've ever done in my entire life growing up.
Mhm.
So, and I got invited by my lady friend, and I went, and she was perfect. And I was on I looked like you would imagine, and I
Mhm.
was super strong back then, but like everything in my body was shaking.
It's
It looked like I'd never worked out ever.
it's hard, but I would absolutely recommend it. Like after you get over like the week hump of like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible," you love it
Mhm.
and you're addicted to it. It's like it's the best drug.
I got to get back into it. I'm getting a little. I need to stretch more, so
Hey, flexibility. I
got to
can
get some
touch my
core
toes now.
power.
Soccer, took away all my flexibility.
What position did you play in soccer?
Everywhere. I loved playing winger. I loved playing forward, but in high school I played center back, but mainly wingers, like 7-11.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
I got a little speed on you. You can run a little bit.
Yep. I don't know about it anymore. My knees are pretty old now, so they have like, I always say they have like 90 years on them of soccer. They were just beat up.
Yeah, running around.
I'd never, knock on wood,
Now,
never had to have an ACL.
We're about to nerd out on soccer real quick.
Yep.
I got questions. Did you grow up playing on like a natural surface like grass, or did you play on the?
I was natural. So I had
Okay.
all the bumps, all the things.
Yeah.
But I will say turf is very predictable. So I love
Yes.
playing on turf, but I hate the turf burns.
For sure.
I
And
think,
the black rubber that gets everywhere.
yes, hate it. But I think all World Cup and professional stages should be played on natural grass.
I agree, and I'm willing to sell maybe a third of my kidney to go to the World Cup when it's
Yes,
here.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
So that's like it's been on my bucket list to go, and now that it's coming right to our
It's here.
backyard, I got to figure out a way. I've been trying to work it. It like hopefully they can slide me in so I can
You're like,
do security, like turn
fingers
my back
crossed.
around, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
But maybe I hope to see you there.
Yeah, no, I hope so. That's one thing about like DFW that's just great too. It's something that we don't have back home is there's so many things to do. Like I remember freshman year, I didn't have my car, I didn't have anyone to go with, but I went to a soccer game in Frisco because it was just fun. Like, and
FC Dallas?
oh no, who was it? It was the women's national team was playing.
Yes,
It was
there.
the She Believes Cup. They were playing Brazil.
Yep.
It was awesome. But like going out and not just staying in the TCU bubble, because the TCU bubble is very real.
Yes.
Like going to soccer, our downtown is probably one of the most gorgeous downtowns in the nation. It's so
And right down the street.
clean. It's safe for our students to go to too. Like taking advantage of everything DFW has to offer.
For sure. So even get a little bit outside of Fort Worth if you can.
Exactly.
And that may be a little bit difficult sometimes with people, especially with first years
Our freshmen not having cars now.
Right.
Yep. Which I am glad I didn't have a car freshman year. It forced me to stay on campus. But when I was starting to go to Core Power, I was like, dang, I really wish I had my
No,
car.
for sure. But let's rewind that because I didn't know you didn't have a car.
Nope.
So now you're even more
Isolated in my
right.
Which
So
it
talk
was
about that. How did you navigate for those who don't have cars? How did you navigate?
my parents were very generous and let me Uber when I needed to, and they knew that I felt very like trapped at TCU, and I think not being able to drive whenever I wanted, and I love driving. Like back home, I'll just go on a drive when I'm like feeling overwhelmed. I'll
For
go to
sure.
Dutch Bros and we have like mountains. So I just like go sit on top of a mountain and just watch the stars at night. And I can't do that here.
No.
No.
Unfortunately.
A parking garage maybe, but that's about it. But that was a big culture shift for me, not having a car. I was like, oh no, what do I do? Like this is crazy. But I really learned to walk around TCU, and I love it. And walk around in the sense of when I was feeling overwhelmed, instead of driving my car, I would just go walk around and I'd do a lap. And this wasn't here when I used to walk around.
It was not.
Nope.
It was not.
Very fresh.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We are in the lovely collision space attached to Hill Hall. Gutierrez.
Thank
right
you,
in
our
the
wonderful
back, you know.
trustee.
Yes, 100%. And the when we were dedicating it to them, that was such a beautiful ceremony. And people came down, and it was so great. We have so many generous people who give so that our students can have such a fantastic time while they're here and after they're here. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm hoping that like sometime, we get a law school so we can keep people like
I would
you.
hope so.
like,
I know.
you don't have to go anywhere else, but I do feel like you've had probably such a great time at TCU. You will always be attached to TCU.
Absolutely. And this is a hot take. And I was talking to someone about this 2 weeks ago. If my TCU experience ended today, I would be happy. Like,
Wow.
I think I have given everything that I could give to TCU. And obviously, I still want to do more. Like,
Right.
I want to do more in this role. But I am so happy, especially with homecoming, like us revamping our parade and the student government this past year. Like, just everything that I've done academically, I would be content with everything I have done up to this point. I've just loved it. I love the community I built. I loved my relationships with faculty. And I know that this is a place I'm going to keep coming back and hopefully give to this next generation so they can hopefully have an amazing time like I did at TCU.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about homecoming. I was out of the state, so I didn't get to be at the parade, but I did see
Yes.
some of my colleagues there, but I knew that this was a big thing
Yes.
for
So
it to happen. So tell me a little bit about
this was
that.
the first time we've had a parade since 2017. So in 2017, it overlapped with Family Weekend and Homecoming. And so our students didn't want to build floats and really like do a parade during Family
Right,
Weekend. Like
right.
it's hectic, everyone's there. And then COVID happened. So then the parade died off. And this is something that we looked into a lot last year. Our former student body president, Dominic Menlik, we were on a homecoming exploratory search committee to see if student organizations, student affairs, different areas around campus wanted to see this come back. And very positive feedback from that. And I took it and ran with it. And I said, how do we get this back in our first year? How do we inform students? And we had a fantastic turnout. Over 1,100 people showed up. We had
Nice.
70 student organizations, from floats to walking groups. It was
Good.
wonderful to see that all come together.
Good. I'm sure that I will be here next year for
When
homecoming.
it's bigger and better.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. Okay. Last question I ask is what I ask every single person who comes and sits in your position,
Okay.
which is, and this will be a little bit embarrassing if you don't know, but I'm sure you already do.
Oh, no.
You are familiar with the Riff Ram chant.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm about to say you've been here for
Yep.
years. If
You're
you're
like,
the Riff Ram,
you're like,
we got problems.
if you've been to one football game.
Yeah, you're gonna immediately, you know.
Mhm.
So what is your favorite 2-word combo of that chant?
Oh,
Yeah, you see, no, see, this is a great question. Nobody's ever thought about this one.
I guess it's like a 3-word.
Or it could be 3.
Give 'em hell.
What's your favorite part? There we go. I like that
Give
one.
'em hell, TCU.
I like that one. I
Mhm.
like that one. It feels good, right? You're just like,
Because you're like,
it gets you ready to
you're
go.
fired up. You're ready
For
to
sure.
go. Mhm.
And it's at the perfect. It's at the end, so you're
Exactly.
already fired up off of the other
Exactly.
gibberish.
Well, hey, we'll use it for BYU this weekend. We don't talk about last weekend.
You know,
Nope.
that's all right.
That's okay.
That's okay. But we're
But
gonna be fine playing BYU this
we're
weekend.
cheering on our boys. They're
We're
going
gonna
to
be
kill it
fine.
in Provo, Utah.
Indeed.
Yep.
All right, Reagan. It was amazing to talk to you. Honestly, if we had more time, I would be ask you even so much more questions. But thank you for sharing your
Oh,
time.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your advice to some of our students. And I'm gonna let you have the last say. If you want to say anything out, you want to give a shout out or anything like that. If you want to give anything to our student body here as the president, now is your time.
I am not all knowing, and I just hope a glimpse of my experience can show you guys that you're really not alone. And this community is so broad, and you don't have to fit into one mold at TCU. So embrace it, lean into this community, and as always, go Frogs.
Go Frogs.